Hey guys, you're in the cut with Slidercuts, and today I am taking you through a Slidercuts Masterclass. The Masterclass will entail a haircut tutorial, which will be taking you through step by step the whole haircut with description at your pace so that you can really learn from it. From there, I'll be going into a lecture where I'll be talking about the fundamentals of successful barbering, from business, marketing to social media, and so much more. You're in the cut with Slidercuts. Stay in the cut while Slidercuts shapes up culture. Come along with me. All right, guys, welcome back to the second part of the Slidercuts Masterclass. This part is going to be focused on the business, marketing, social media side of things, because some people are happy just to be a barber. And when I mean just a barber, don't take it as just a barber. I mean like to be a barber, they don't care about the whole thing of, do I need to open up a shop? Do I need to do that? But how you just kind of like transition from that stage of, okay, I'm a good barber now, to taking it into a brand. I'm Slidercuts. That is the business name.
Do you charge like celebrities or rich people more
No.
than average Joe?
No.
They all pay the same?
Pay the same price. I don't believe in charging somebody more. Like, price your service at the price that you want and that you're worth. If you decide to give this person a discount because they can't afford it, then that is great. But the price is the price. In whatever you do, you're always branding. Just to let you guys know, whatever you do. So when I say I started branding, you could say I started consciously, what do you call it, branding. But in everything you do, you're branding. Right now, with everything you do on your Instagram, if you put pictures up on your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, you are branding. With the way you carry yourself, you're branding. With the way you talk to people, this is all the brand that you are creating. That people, when people look at you, there's the idea they have of your brand. So everybody has a brand. It's just about whether it's a good one or a bad one. So people said to me at one stage, "All right, I can see you're really branding, you're really branding, you're really branding." But everybody's been doing it. They can just see that I'm, you could say, pushing it more. But I was branding before when there was no social media, because of the way I carried myself, with the way, the ethics I had behind my business and stuff like that, what I represented. That was all kind of like what the embodiment of the brand that I had created. So just to make that clear, that in everything you do as a business, you are always branding. But generally, especially in the afro world, I don't know if there was any black person who had a website as a barber. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, I'm a business, so I should have one. So I decided, I set up a website, you know, where you can find me, my number, email address, my opening times. That's what my first website had. It was just one page with my basic information. But it meant that when people were searching, they could find me. And what happened from there was, anytime somebody came into London and they typed in black barber London, I came up. No one else had one. This is before social media. And they're like, "Oh, I saw your website." And it's just kind of like, almost like always thinking ahead. Like, and that thinking only comes when you start seeing yourself as a business. Because if I didn't see myself as a business, I wouldn't have set up a website. Like majority of barbers didn't. So it's all about the change of mindset. So I don't know, some of you might see yourself as that right now. Some of you might not. But the first step is you need to change your mindset and say, I am a business. Like, it's that simple. I am a business. You need to know what a good haircut looks like, and you need to acknowledge what a good haircut looks like, even if you can't do it. Because too many people don't know what a good haircut looks like. So when they do a haircut, which is good for them, which you should be proud of, they think that they've made it already because they haven't trained their barber eye. So you should be able to look at your haircut and say, "Do you know what? I've stepped up. This is good for me, but it's still not where I want to be. You know, it still isn't on the same standard as X, Y, and Z." Whatever you do, do to the best of your ability. If you're in Sainsbury's and all you're doing is stacking shelves, do that to the best of your ability, because you're in it. Like, I really believe by this, I really live by this idea that if you're in it, be in it.
Would you say that's what's provided a lot of opportunities for you in the future?
100%. 100%. Because the next point I'm getting to is you're always in an interview. It's not something you can fake. What I'm about to tell you, it's not something you can fake. It has to be something you internalize, and it has to be externalized. Basically, you have to become that person internally and live it out. So it's not kind of like when somebody's watching, I'll be polite. You have to just become polite. you know what, when it matters, I'll be on time. You have to just be a timely person. When I think somebody's coming, I'll show them I'm working hard. No, you have to just be a hard worker, because that's the kind of thing you want behind your brand. You want people to say you're reliable. You want people to say that you're good at what you do. You want people to say you've got good customer service, that you're polite. Like, customer service plays such a big part in what you're doing, because you're going to spend anything from 15 minutes to an hour with this person. Start consciously when you're out there going around your normal day-to-day life, and start looking at the service you receive from places. Start mentally, or in your notepad, start noting down the places which are good and the places which are bad. And then start noting down to yourself what was good about it. Because all those things which were good about it is the thing that you want your business to represent. Your work should be the thing. Your work, your service, who you are like a brand, as a product, should be the thing that keeps people in your chair. Not loyalty, not guilt. Two things which people lean on. Take that, chop it down, throw it away, put that in the bin. Nobody should stay with you because they're loyal, or nobody should stay with you because they're guilty. Why should someone have to pay for a service that they don't want because they're guilty to go to someone else? Like I always tell people, only come to me because you want to come to me. You know.
Do you know when to start increasing prices? Do you do it on a sort of yearly scale, or?
It's a bit different with barbering. Although like majority of businesses raise up their prices, whether it's like 2p, 5p, 10p every year, with barbering it's hard because you don't want to go from £10 to £10.23. So it means that we can realistically only jump up either 50p or £1. If that makes sense. And even 50p seems like an awkward number. So generally barbers only really want to go up by £1.
Yeah,
So,
£2
yeah. So what it is then is, instead barbers probably have to raise their prices up every few years instead. The thing you can do is you can add new services that cost more. So as example, where it just used to be walk-in, you know, come in originally £7, £8, whatever it was back then, £7, something like that. I introduced the appointment system. And at first I was like, you know what? It's just £5 on top of whatever your service is. So now you could say the prices have gone up, but they haven't gone up. I've just added a new service. You can now come in and not wait and pay extra not to wait. And then we just rounded up and just said, you know, £15 for appointments. So if you're gonna do call out haircuts to go to people's houses, it's basically, you got to work out what your hour is worth. Judge generally how much you charge in your shop. How much would you kind of make an hour? So let's just go with the average of every haircut costs is half an hour long, and it costs, I don't know, let's say £20 each. So that means if you were fully booked, as example, so you don't have to even be fully booked, but if you were fully booked, as example, you'd make £40 an hour. So when you're doing call outs, you need to look at yourself and look at your situation and say, okay, so if I go to come to your house to cut your hair, it's going to take me about 45 minutes to get there, 45 minutes back, hour and a half. I'm going to spend about an hour there because the haircut might take 45 minutes. Because also, whenever you cut someone at their house, it always takes longer. Always takes longer. So do not judge your times of how you cut in the shop to when you're cutting at someone's place, because the lighting's never right, the space is always rubbish. You're cutting next to someone's bed, their bed's right there. It's just awkward. So your service that's half an hour might end up taking 50 minutes to an hour. So always like account for that it's going to take longer. How much is 2.5 hours worth in my world? £100. But at the same time, you might say, but this is a luxury service. So I don't want to break even leaving the shop to go cut someone's hair, because if I'm going to break even, I might as well just stay at work. So I'm going to add on a premium now to that to be like maybe £50 as example, or £40 or £20 or £30, whatever it is, however you work it out.
So for example, just to say you're cutting me and my son within an hour.
Yeah.
You charge individually for me and my son, or is it based on an hourly?
For me, I used to do per person, then I changed it to time. So if I can cut you and your son in that time, then I just charge that price because I haven't spent any more time here. Whether you own a shop or whether you are like a solo barber, as in like a self-employed, just working for yourself barber. Basic points on running a shop. Opening and closing times. It's such a simple point, but how many barbers turn up when they want? Everyone's side. Basic thing are opening and closing time. And it seems so basic, but it's so imperative to a business. I've told other barbers about these things, and I've had like arguments or discussions with barbers about it. And I remember one barber or a couple of barbers saying to me, well, the reason why I'm self-employed is so I can do what I want. If you're self-employed, one, you should actually do better because you're representing yourself. And this is where it comes to the fact of how do you value yourself and how do you see yourself. Because the fact that you can go out there and say, because I'm representing myself, I will be pathetic, is actually stupid. I will represent myself, so I'm going to do a bad job because I represent myself. But if I go and represent Mr. X, Y, and Z and work for them, I'm going to represent them properly. It's backwards. I just feel like we need to get rid of this old school mindset of barbering where it's kind of like, I work when I want, I come in when I want, and you know what, I'm doing you a favor, so, you know, I will behave how I like, and you'll just have to put up with it. Unless you're doing mobile barbering, you have a location, which obviously all of you will probably just have. If you're not a mobile barber and you have a location, you work from a certain base, it's a good thing to have because it means that people just know that if I go to there, that barber will be there. Code of conduct. You need to really, like, even if you work in a shop that allows you to do whatever you want, cuss, swear, play whatever you want on your thing, this and that, you need to create within yourself a code of conduct. How do I want to carry myself? How do I want to be seen? It needs to be something you even write down in yourself. So it's like, what are my values? What are my ethics as a barber? It could be, I don't swear around clients, even the swearing. This is not our homes. This is not our car. We are serving the public. So the way we talk, the things we put on TV, the music we play, needs to reflect that. Contact details. How many barbers are out there who online, they look good, this and that, and when it comes to contacting them, you don't even know where to go? Social media. The first thing I'd say, start up a social media page. When you're thinking about the name you want to choose for your social media page, think about a name that will, you know, don't think about now, just think about a name that's where you're going to carry on, like, because so many people choose names and it's kind of like, you know, Gunman Barber. And and then it's kind of like a couple of years later, they get a bit older and it's kind of like, actually, that name's a bit stupid. You know, maybe I should have. But now everyone's calling you Gunman. And now you're having to rebrand. Whatever you call yourself on your social media, when people see you, they're most likely going to refer to you as that. So only use a name that you're comfortable being called. You can create a real sense of your brand through your social media, but it takes a lot more thought to do this. Everybody in here who has seen my Instagram knows that early is on time. It's the reason why loads of people know that, you know, don't come sweating, don't come with grease in your hair, because I put this all out on my Instagram. You know, not in a very harsh way, it's still all kind of jokey, but I've stressed about it on my Instagram. You need to create your Instagram to reflect who you are. And the way to do that is simple. One, the basic thing, which is the core of everything, is your haircuts. So if you look at my page, like you don't see me, you rarely see me in pictures. Unless I cut my own hair, it's very rare I'm even in any of my pictures. Doesn't mean you can't be in all your pictures, but the whole point is the way I branded my thing is I made a conscious decision to say that I want my brand to be something that when people talk about it and see it, they say quality haircuts, reliable, good service, friendly, all these type of things there. But the first thing I want them to really know is he's a good barber. And even when Reggie Yates, Tiny Temple, Anthony Joshua, and they all come into the shop, if you notice, which is obviously testament to their characters as well, they don't ever come in on some hierarchy thing. If you didn't actually know who they were, you just think that they're just one of the other customers. And the reason why that can happen as well is also from the way you act as a person. Right?
I was gonna say you do make the customer feel valued regardless of hierarchy.
And I'm not trying to offend any barbers who do this, but what I feel is when I see barbers write these long captions about these celebrities they met, for me, it devalues your brand. What do you take from that subconsciously?
If you do it for the rest of your customers, then fine. But if you only do it for the big name celebrities, then I would think that you were just fame hungry. Maybe you're not really interested in the normal person anymore. Your whole goal is just to have a celebrity diary.
You're just placing your service below their level.
Whether Anthony Joshua, Tiny Temper, Stormzy, or Reggie Yates, or any other celebrity who I cut, whether I cut them this week or not, will my Insta stories not be fully loaded still? And you know what's good about that? It means that when they come into the room, they feel comfortable being on Insta stories. You know why? Because they know it's not just for them. You come and you pay for a service. So give them the service they paid for. They didn't come to be having you acting like a fan and being like, hey, I know you got all these followers, can you post me quickly? They didn't come for that. And then what you will do as well is you will create people feeling awkward coming there. And this is where it comes back to the same thing, customer service. People focus on making money to make money, and it's the wrong thing. Focus on your craft. Focus on your service. Focus on what you are giving out. And then people will be more comfortable in paying a higher premium for it. If you value your business, then you got to be willing to pay into it. You got to be willing to put time into it. You got to be willing to put money into it. Like in everything which I'm doing now, I've put money into it, and that's through different means. That'll be from promotion. That could be like Instagram promotion. You know, they do the Instagram stuff now. Facebook promotions. Every now and then on Facebook, I promote a video of mine in random places of the world where I know barbering is popular. You know the reason why I do it? Just because I want them to know my name in that part of the world. A lot of other barbers are making it so much easier for me because you're not doing basic things. So I'm not saying if everybody else was doing what they were doing, I still wouldn't be doing well, but you're making the gap so much bigger. And when I say you, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about so much barbers are making the gap so much bigger because they're just not doing the basic fundamentals. And that's what I said, website, contact details on it, location, Instagram, code of conduct. These are things that if you go to any business without saying anything, they would all have that. Afro hair is becoming a lot more respected. It never used to be respected, but it's now becoming a lot more respected. You might not realize it, but you are investing into your business right now because there's so much people like, I don't want to pay, or that's too much. And I get it. I know, I can't tell anyone where their finances are at. It's so important if you're going to push your business forward, identifying your weaknesses. Like your strengths are your sprinters, and they will sprint. Your weaknesses are the weights that slow you down. So you need to identify what is your weakness. That could be your cutting isn't that good. So what do you need to do? I need to maybe go shadow someone. I may need to watch more YouTube tutorials, follow more people on Instagram and watch it, spend more time. Maybe I need to start actually saying, okay, I'll give a free haircut once a week to anybody to come and get a haircut while I work on my techniques. And not only about strength, it links into the idea of your team. That's not what you do. Where you need help, go and get it from elsewhere. And also the thing about paying, this whole idea of I don't want to pay for anything. If you don't want to pay for anything to better your business, then you don't value your business. So I'd advise anyone to go and get a qualification and then go into real learning after that. And that could be shadowing someone. People respect my business because I respect my business. People don't respect other people's businesses because they don't respect their business. Because most people around you will never respect your business until you show them that. When I first got with my wife, I remember she's like, oh, can't you just take a day off? Or can't you just leave early? Or can't you just start later because this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I don't blame her because you're your own boss. So technically you can do those things. But I said to her, no, I can't because of this, because of that and blah, blah, blah. And then she learned to respect my business because she saw that I respected my business.
Do you ever personally feel away if somebody leaves and then come back 2-3 months later?
Like whatever it is, I always say that if a customer leaves me, it's always my fault. Or it could be just being more honest, your haircuts aren't good enough. So I remember this guy, especially when I cut his hair the next time, I gave him the same standard because I looked at the other guy who cut his hair and I said, all right, that actually is better. And you know what? I should have cut his hair like this and that. So the next time I cut his hair, I stepped up now. Building that relationship with your customers and that trusting element and stuff like that, which I can't emphasize enough. Like, they want someone they can trust. It's just about being that complete package and being that person who you want to be, being that person you want everyone else to see. So that become that person and it'll come out in your Instagram, in your everyday life, in your interactions, in your Twitter, in your all of these kind of things there. And then clients will come through that. You've been in the cut with Slidercuts.
Shout out to Slidercuts. It's fantastic. So yeah, shout out to Slidercuts.
Really going into details and teaching us what we need to know.
4 sides of A4 paper, as well as a brain that's now boggled with information and knowledge and tips, advice. There's a lot going on right now, so I'm really grateful that I came today.
You're in
The cut with
Slidercuts.
Slidercuts.
culture.
Shout out to Slidercuts, all the way from Sweden. I came here because he's the best in UK.